Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. There's a lot going on in M15. Remember the Titans? Those guys were not fair at all, to say the least. Well, Wizards has brought us a new cycle. This time their avatars called the Souls of different planes, and they're super big and definitely made for Commander. Let's take a look at a few of them and a couple other interesting reprints. Remember, we're only covering cards officially spoiled. Seriously, remember that. Soul of New Phyrexia, 6 mana for a 6/6 trampling avatar. You can pay 5 mana to have permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Well, isn't this just the best target for exile-based removal? You can also pay 5, exile them from your graveyard, and once again, permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Even from the yard, these guys just don't give up. To be fair, him being in a graveyard rather than in play or exiled seems unlikely. If you have the mana to activate his ability and no one stops you, that's just dirty. The card isn't overpowered by any means. It is an artifact, so there's a lot of hate out there. Granted, you won't want to play this without being able to protect it, but even still, it's a huge investment to set up something this impactful. Wrath effects in Commander are powerful, there's no denying that. To be able to prevent those effects from dealing with every permanent you own is stupidly powerful. This card will make you a target instantly. I hope you're ready for that. Well, Convoke is back after a long hiatus, although it was printed in Ravnica, so honestly didn't actually go anywhere. I'm getting off track. Return to the Ranks is X and 2 white for a sorcery with Convoke. Each creature you tap while casting the spell pays for 1 colorless mana or 1 mana of that creature's color. Return X target creature cards with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. What? This card is nice. It could actually see play. Being able to use your own creatures to bring back other creatures is pretty synergistic when you have a deck filled with a bunch of small dudes. It's even more synergistic when you use those dudes as sacrificial lambs for things. Just saying, there are Commander decks that love sacrificing creatures. That's all I'll say about that. Beyond Commander, Return has a chance at seeing Standard or Modern play. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I think the card has potential. I'd like to see it in an aggressive red-white or green-white based strategy. Sure, you have to tap your creatures to get other creatures back, but if you're getting back 2 or 3 value creatures, it could be worth it. The jury is still out on this, but I'll be watching it closely. Next up is Spirit Bonds. 2 mana for an enchantment. Whenever a Next up is Spirit Bonds. 2 mana for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 white. If you do, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. That is a good ability. You can also pay 1 colorless and a white and sacrifice a spirit to give target non-spirit creature indestructible until end of turn. I really like this card. Spirit Bonds has a lot of potential and will surely be hyped before release. The card's already being targeted by black-white tokens, black-white humans, soul sisters, and a lot more. While I don't think it fits all that well in the token decks, I can definitely see it in Soul Sisters and various other creature decks in multiple formats. It provides great protection against board sweeps. For every creature you play, you have the ability to get a 1/1 insurance policy. Worst case scenario, sacrifice your Mutavault since it's a spirit. Versatility is strong with this card. There are a lot of possibilities. Jalira, Master Polymorphist, is 4 mana for a 2/2 legendary creature human wizard. You can pay 3 mana, tap, and sacrifice another creature to reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-legendary creature. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Sounds really familiar. Oh yeah, it's Polymorph. It's a weird card. It'll obviously see play in Commander, and I'd love it to have a chance in Standard, but 4 mana without protection, then another 3 mana, and having to sack a creature, that's a lot of investment for something so risky. Either way, it's a bomb in Commander for sure. Soul of Ravnica, 4 colorless and 2 blue for a 6/6 flying avatar. You can pay 5 colorless and 2 blue to draw a card for each color among permanents you control. You can pay the same cost to exile it from your graveyard and have the same effect. This is a boss in both Commander and Limited. Ignore the ability for a second. This is a 6/6 flyer for 6 mana. It's a 6/6 that flies. Do you get how big that is? I practically wet myself when I see Mahamoti Jin. If I open this in draft, I'll be happier than a mono red player casting Skullcrack in response to New Ajani's ultimate. As far as viability goes, again, it's a bomb in Commander and Limited. The ability is expensive, but when you get to late game and the board is stalled out between you and your 3 best friends, the soul forces people to make decisions. If they let you draw off him over and over again, they'll probably just lose. He's a playmaker, and a good one at that. Shrapnel Blast is getting a fresh reprint. Not like it was just reprinted last year or anything. Anyways, the Blast is an interesting inclusion in the core set. I think we can expect to see some cheap artifacts coming in the next few sets. The last time Shrapnel Blast was in Standard, Affinity was a thing, so be afraid. Maybe. Soul of Chandalar is the red avatar. 4 colorless and 2 red for a 6/6 with First Strike. You can pay 3 colorless and 2 red to deal 3 damage to target player and 3 damage to up to 1 target creature that player controls. Wow. Okay, you can also pay the same and exile it from the graveyard to do the same effect. Whatever. Okay, this is good. A 6 mana 6/6 with First Strike is pretty beefy. Plus his ability is so impressive. Because he's 6 mana and can't protect himself, it'll be difficult for him to see play in constructed formats besides Commander. He should make you a few enemies there. Plus, if you open the Soul in Limited, you just won yourself a draft, so that's a thing. Soul of Zendikar is... Zendikar? Avenger of Zendikar. Landfall? Lands? Zendikar block? Fetch land reprinting confirmed! In a perfect world, am I right? Anyways, Soul of Misty Rainforest, I mean Zendikar, is 4 colorless and 2 green for a 6/6 avatar with reach. You can pay 3 colorless and 2 green to put a 3/3 green beast token onto the battlefield. You can pay the same amount and exile him from a graveyard to do the same effect. This is okay. The ability on its own is fine, but a bit too expensive for constructed right now. 6 mana is a lot for something without any protection. Granted, this will see play in Commander and is a total bomb in Limited. I can't help but think that some players will be disappointed in these as mythics. I think it's important to keep our standards in mind. Standard in the typical sense of the word, not standard as in permutation of the format. Anyways, the Titans spoiled us for what we can do for 4 colorless and 2 of any color, and we shouldn't expect another mythic cycle of that power level for quite some time. That being said, these seem to be more geared towards the Commander, casual, and Limited player. How do you guys feel about that? Let me know. I am baffled by this next reprint. Darksteel Citadel is getting its first non-dual deck reprint since Darksteel itself. You get to sacrifice it to Shrapnel Blast, so that's cool. Other than that, you have an indestructible colorless mana source that you're going to be real upset about getting in draft or sealed unless sacrificing artifacts is a thing. I don't know. This card confuses me beyond reason. I have no idea why it's here. I give up. I'm done. I'm done! Seriously though, I'm done. That was the last card. What do you guys think? As far as core sets go, it's not bad. There's a lot more excitement around this set in particular than in past years, and that's cool. Let me know what cards you're most excited about in the comments. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Wow.